Hey guys, welcome back to the show. And really quick, to start off the show, I just wanted to talk very quickly about the giveaway that I'm having. I'm having a few giveaways this year. The first giveaway that I'm going to be doing is for a Nintendo Switch. You may have noticed in my last video, I gave out a code word. I'm going to be putting 4 more code words over the next 4 videos. So there's going to be 5 code words in total over 5 videos. All you have to do is just write down all 5 code words. Once you have all 5, send them to me in an email at 10yeargiveaway@gmail.com and I'll be picking a winner. Now, in my 10th anniversary video, I said I'd be picking a winner on April 1st, but since you're all so suspicious that it's going to be an April Fool's joke, which it's not, by the way. I mean, if it was a joke, I wouldn't be giving away a Nintendo Switch. I'd be promising something more unobtainable right now, like a PlayStation 5 or an exotic car, or job security. So to end the speculation and put everyone's fears at rest, I'll be picking a winner on April 3rd. That's my birthday. Works out nice. It's a nice way to celebrate, you know. Pick someone to send a free Nintendo Switch to. How about that? Also, this giveaway is open to anyone in any part of the world. It's not just North America. You know, if you live in the UK or Europe or Australia or wherever you are, I'll find a way to get it to you. And if you don't win, don't worry, because I'm going to be doing more giveaways this year, so stay tuned for those. Also, I'm going to be doing a special giveaway on my Instagram page as well. Now, on this episode, I'm going to be talking about a movie that came out recently, wasn't very well received, and I'm going to go through why I think that is. I first heard about this movie a few years ago when I stumbled across an article where John Travolta was talking about how working with Fred Durst was his favorite experience. Quote, "He allowed me to create a character that no one else would allow. It's really a wild character, and I felt very free to do that." Oh, it's wild. So wild, in fact, that it earned him a Razzie for Worst Actor. So let's get into The Fanatic. The movie starts with a narration by the character Leah. It pops up again a few times throughout the movie. It's really unnecessary, and I think it actually makes the movie worse. Now, the first scene in a movie can really set the tone for the rest of the film, and this opening scene really does that. Just check out the first few lines of dialogue here.
Hey, Aaron.
Chocolate mousse.
I can't talk too long. I gotta poo.
Can you imagine reading that on the first page of a script? In fact, imagine John Travolta sitting at home reading that script. The Fanatic. Okay. Aaron, chocolate mousse. Can't talk long. I gotta poo. Hey, it's me. Yeah, I just started reading the script. I'm in. I'm totally on board. I don't even gotta read the rest of it. By the way, for the record, I took some creative liberties with that skit. I have no idea if John Travolta wears cardigans or not. And if he does, they're probably not wrinkled. But then again, I don't know. So John Travolta plays this character named Moose, who's a huge fan of an action horror movie star named Hunter Dunbar. And honestly, I gotta hand it to John Travolta here because you can tell he's really going for it with this character, but it's just too much. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the get-go that this character has a disability, but this movie takes this character well beyond that, and you'll see that eventually. So Moose buys this vest from one of Hunter's movies because you could totally see an action hero wearing this. Anyways, that night, his friend Leah, who's a celebrity paparazzi, helps get him into a party for the cast and crew of one of Hunter's movies. And there's just so many moments where you just can't help but laugh at this.
Scissors, dude. I said bolt cutters.
I don't know what they are.
Anyways, he gets into this party, but Hunter isn't there. But there's this moment in the scene where the color grading changes. It's very noticeable. I have no idea why it happens, but it's very weird.
I need to get an autograph from Amanda. You don't let him do this to me, Amanda. I'm a fan.
So Moose gets kicked out and he's pissed off because Hunter wasn't even there. And you might be wondering, I don't know, how does he pay his rent? Well, apparently this is what he does for money. He dresses up as a London bobby cop, and I guess that's his street performance? Wow, I never knew doing this could pay the bills.
Welcome to Hollywood, where crimes are made of.
So there's these other street performers who rob people, and they're kind of like bullies to Moose. But don't be surprised if by this point in the movie you already don't care, because none of these characters are likable or relatable in any way. So Moose never got to meet Hunter, but that's okay because Hunter is going to be at Aaron's store signing copies of his new book. So this is Moose's big chance to get his autograph. And wow, look at this. Moose's fantasy is so close to becoming a reality. But of course, the moment that Moose is up to bat, Hunter has to go see his ex-wife in the back alley. And she's like, I've got a date tonight, so you've got to look after our son. You've got 30 minutes. So Hunter says, all right, well, I guess I'm done here. And this is how he responds to Moose.
But boy, do you see the special items that I have. This is Space Vampires.
How would I sign your face with my fucking fist? That's a collector's item you're not gonna want to take home.
And here's the thing, I get, he might be a little annoyed with someone asking him for an autograph in that exact moment, but all things considered, the guy's asking you for an autograph just outside of an event where, the reason you're there is to sign autographs. Moose then goes to Hunter's house, and this is where he goes from being annoyed to downright violent with him.
I don't know what you're doing outside my house like some sort of deaf mute pervert, but I suggest you keep moving. Unless you want trouble.
There's a letter for you. It's a letter.
You wrote a letter? I don't accept letters here.
Mr. Dunbar, I collect autographs, and I bought your vest from Vampire Killers. It was $300. See?
You want my autograph? Give me the pen. Thank you. I got your autograph. Right there is my autograph. Now get the fuck out of here.
And this guy's a movie star. Is this really the first time he's had to deal with a really big fan who maybe went a little too far to get an autograph? The point I'm trying to make is that there's an appropriate way to deal with these situations. In the past, there have been situations where people have tried to invade my privacy and serious lines were crossed. And I'm just a low-level, YouTube comedian. I never had a manager or an agent to call to get help, but I managed to figure it out without physically assaulting anyone. I mean, if this guy had a publicist, they would be losing their minds right now. I'm sorry, you what? You jammed a Sharpie into someone's chest when they asked for an autograph? Now, you might be thinking, well, maybe this guy is just a huge asshole with a big ego, and maybe the movie is trying to make the audience dislike him, make him the bad guy in this situation. Well, okay, then who is the audience supposed to be rooting for? Who do we connect to in any way, shape, or form? I've made this point before, but I feel the audience needs to connect to at least one of the characters, preferably the protagonist. And the way you do this is by giving them traits that are relatable, making their behavior and reactions believable, or at least something the audience can empathize with. Which is why there have been a lot of movies or TV shows about stalkers or people obsessing over someone, and those stories typically have the person who's being stalked as the protagonist, because they are the ones who are having their privacy and peace of mind, just general well-being, violated. And even though obviously not everyone has been in that exact situation, they can imagine what the character is going through psychologically and emotionally. Fear, anxiety, panic, anger. Now, more or less, everyone is a fan of something. Everyone's had someone at some point in their lives who they see as a celebrity, they look up to, they'd like to meet. So in that sense, yeah, that's the one sliver of this character that's relatable. But it doesn't stop there. The movie takes it to a level that isn't relatable. If I could sum it up, these characters lack a sense of humanity. None of these people are likable or relatable at all. So anyways, Moose leaves and goes back to his street performance. Wow, that photo must cost $100 because this is the only job we ever see Moose do. Yet he has an apartment, memorabilia, cell phone.
I have no idea why Moose would go back to that man's house. But I suppose when you find the cookie jar, it's hard to not go back for more.
I like how the narration is basically like the movie saying, yeah, we don't really have a good reason as to why he would go back there, so we're just gonna throw this in here along with an analogy about going back to the cookie jar, even though I have no idea why this location would be the cookie jar, unless the cookies are what? Being physically harmed? So he drops off the letter that Hunter said he didn't want, which is kind of funny, the irony of Devon Sawa playing a character that doesn't want the letter that an obsessed fan wrote to him.
Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling.
Anyways, Moose runs into the other street performer drug addict who tries to bully him into performing with him. And this is where Moose shows his explosive, violent tendencies, which really just makes the character more and more unlikable.
I wish Freddy Krueger would come and chop off your head, and it would roll in the street, and a truck would squish it, and the blood would splatter everywhere.
Then Hunter's housekeeper tells him that she saw Moose climb into the backyard, and she's like, "Oh my god, I was so scared." And he's like, hey, it's okay, here, let me kiss you. It's almost like the script is having this competition going back and forth over which character is more disgusting. So then he asks his gardener if he saw anyone, and it's interesting. I mean, if I was a big movie star that could afford housekeepers and gardeners and found out someone was sneaking onto my property, might want to invest in some security cameras. I don't know. Some kind of security system? Just a thought. Anyways, Hunter leaves and the housekeeper finds the letter that Moose left behind, just as Moose, I guess, decided to go back to the house. So he starts freaking out because he doesn't want her to read it, and of course she's freaked out and starts hitting him, and he accidentally kills her.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's a nosebleed.
I guess Moose doesn't understand that if someone is bleeding from their head and isn't moving, it's probably not good. So he goes into the house, and again, it's really hard to take this movie seriously sometimes. By the way, I just want to throw it out there that John Travolta was campaigning to get this performance considered for the Oscars. So if any Academy members happen to be watching right now, for your consideration,
You rock my head and you rattle my head. You rock it like I go to bed.
Moose spends all night in Hunter's house, eating stuff, using his toothbrush, watching his home videos, and then hides after Hunter comes home and passes out from mixing alcohol with his medication. And if you didn't think that all that other stuff was just batshit crazy, now he's smelling his ear and kissing him. All of this combined, in my opinion, takes this into the realm of serious psycho shit. Anyways, in the morning, Moose leaves and Hunter takes his kid to school, and I don't even really know what to say about this. This just speaks for itself.
You okay with some music? You like a little Limp Biscuit?
Sure.
You like a little biscuit?
Yeah.
Yeah? God, that is nice. That is nice.
Then he sees Moose walking down the street, and just watch this. He speeds up as if he's going to run him over, and then slams on the brakes. What kind of lunatic is this guy, and why would you do this with your kid in the car? Also, the movie has these little time-lapse illustrations sometimes between scenes, and it just adds so much more to how weird this whole thing is. So he has a huge meltdown and burns all of his Hunter stuff, and then gets angry at the only friend he has.
You're mean! You're mean! Okay, that's it, Leah. Look at this. You're blocked.
And then somehow sneaks into Hunter's house and ties him up to his bed. I mean, really? Hunter didn't come home that night and be like, yeah, you know what, I should probably lock these doors. Oh, and in case you were wondering, yes, the housekeeper's dead body has been lying in the backyard for 2 days now. I guess nothing has come up about that at all. I guess she doesn't have a family or anybody that noticed she was gone for 2 days. Oh, hasn't been home for a while. She's probably just out, cleaning a lot, It's that nighttime cleaning. That's when you really got to work at it. It's hard to see the dust. So Moose makes it look like he shot himself in the head, and then starts laughing and playing these tricks on Hunter.
Wait!
the bar. I fooled down the dumb bar. I'm such a good actor.
And then after a back and forth, Hunter gets him to imagine them eating ice cream and watching movies together. And he says this will happen if Moose unties his hands. And then once he does, Hunter immediately grabs the shotgun, which I guess he keeps on top of his bed, and blows his hand off. Now, I don't know for sure, but I would think someone who keeps guns in the bedroom would be concerned with home security to a degree. Maybe he was just looking for the opportunity to kill someone, you know? Like, well, I could lock the doors, but then I might not get the chance to shoot someone's face off. Now, luckily, I've never been in this situation before, but if I was, I think I would probably untie my legs first before I shot at the crazy psycho stalker who's been harassing me, broke into my house, tied me, gagged me, and pretended to stab me. Because if you miss, well, then it's a really awkward situation, you know? Now it's a race against the clock to untie your legs before this person really tries to kill you. At this point, it's almost as if Hunter wants to blow his head off but can't bring himself to do it, so he keeps shooting beside his head, but then he takes out a knife and stabs him in the eye. And now he takes a seat like, whoa, wait a minute, what the hell am I doing here? Okay, well, I'll wrap up your stump and off you go. By the way, your 10th anniversary giveaway code word for this video is hospitality. Can't piss on it. I won't allow it. I really don't know how Moose is able to walk all the way back to Hollywood at this point and even pose for pictures without bleeding to death, but he does, and Leah finds him, so it's all good. And to wrap things up, they arrest Hunter for the death of the housekeeper. So in the end, everyone loses, nobody learns a thing, and everything sucks. That's it. That's the movie. That's the story that they wanted to tell for some reason. That's the role that John Travolta signed on to and had a great time with, apparently. Which, honestly, let's be real here, John Travolta has had some massive hits and epic misses with his roles in the past, so I gotta give him credit for trying new stuff. Now, apparently this movie was inspired by a real-life situation that Fred Durst had with a fan, and I'm sorry to hear that he had to go through that. That really sucks. I don't know the exact details, but this is not a recommend. It's very weird and bizarre, but there's a ton of better options if you want like a crazy stalker movie.
I am not a stalker!
Actually, the one I keep thinking about for some reason, and I always go back to this movie, I could just watch it again and again and again, is Cape Fear, the remake with Robert De Niro and Nick Nolte. That's a movie I'd recommend any day of the week. And the cool thing about it is it actually features Gregory Peck and Robert Mitchum, who were in the original Cape Fear. But that's it for this one. As usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. And I've seen some people online a little too critical of the hairstyle that they gave the character Moose in this movie. But you know what? You never know what's going to become fashionable in the future. Yeah, that's right. There's probably people watching this movie right now and saying, hey, that's an interesting choice. Maybe I'll try that. I'm serious. It's probably happened.